There are no do-overs in Wii Bowling.
Holy shit, you guys. The do-over is atrocious. And in so many ways, too. It feels like 5 different movies stitched together, and all of them are terrible. So I guess David Spade is the main character, and he hates his life. But lucky for him, Adam Sandler hatches a plan to fake both of their deaths and have them start new lives, assuming the identities of these dead rich guys who live in Puerto Rico. And David Spade is nervous about the prospect, but eventually he gets talked into it, only to come to regret his decision when... Oh wait, what's that? Oh, David Spade's character never actually decides he wants to fake his own death. Adam Sandler just drugs him and does it for him. Okay, so I guess there's no be careful what you wish for character arc in this. It's just dicking around and partying it up and seeing David Spade have a 3-way with a lady and Luis Guzman, who hangs his balls right above David Spade's face, and we get to see them in their full glory as they drip sweat right onto David Spade. I could have turned the movie off here, but I didn't. I just couldn't resist seeing what wonderful scenes the rest of the movie had in store for me. I could describe more scenes in a similar ilk to the ball sweat misadventure, but how long does that seriously need to go on for? Use your imagination! I'm sure the mental image of Adam Sandler deep-throating himself will come to you without me having to tell you that that's a thing that actually happened in the movie. Oh wait, I guess I just did. Whoopsie. Okay, but at least I didn't tell you about his elderly mother coming out with her titties fully hanging out at the end of the movie. Oh wait, I guess I just did. Whoopsie. Okay, I can seriously go on like this for a while, but we gotta move on. So after what feels like 4 hours, but is actually just 40 minutes, the plot of the movie finally starts. Turns out the guys these idiots are impersonating are wanted criminals. Oh my. So they try and get more information out of the wife of one of the guys, and by trying to get more information, I mean they hit her with their car, and they constantly talk about how much they want to f her. But she goes along for the ride, sure, why not? Anyway, they investigate that these guys were trying to make a cure for cancer, actually. Are you ready for the big twist? Spoilers for the Do-over, parentheses 2016. It turns out that Adam Sandler's character orchestrated this whole thing and roped David Spade into it because he has cancer. So he needs the miracle cure to save his life and help his family. This reveal is not given any dramatic weight or potency whatsoever. Instead, Sandler's character goes back to being like, "You wanna torture me by sticking stuff upside my butt? That's kinda gay." I'm so riveted, guys. He's such an entertaining and likable deuteragonist. Anyway, they gotta get the secret formula to cure cancer away from the bad guys. But are you ready for the second big twist? Turns out the wife of one of the guys being impersonated is actually a twist villain who gets 5 minutes of screen time at the end where she actually gets to be evil. My favorite! The evil version of her is kind of the most fun character in the movie, and it's just shoved into these 5 minutes. Can this piece of shit film do anything right? The answer is no. I really racked my brain while watching it, trying to come up with any redeeming qualities it had whatsoever. Any clever elements or jokes I liked. I think I chuckled one time throughout the entire film when they're having David Spade's funeral and his wife says, "I forgive you for being a Democrat." And yeah, that was it. Nothing else here is funny at all. It's not a good buddy comedy or crime caper film either. It just keeps piling meaningless twist on top of meaningless twist. I really don't know what else there is to say. I just hated basically every aspect of it, and I can't think of a single thing I liked. Oh yeah, wait a minute, I forgot. This movie added narration where David Spade's character would pause what was going on, or narrate over it to explain what was happening in the plot. How could I forget that? It was the worst part of the f***ing movie! It's completely pointless! It has nothing other than reminding me that I could have been watching The Emperor's New Groove right now instead! Every bit of the narration can easily be picked up from the visuals! How stupid does this movie think I am?! Unbelievable. Somebody stop Adam Sandler before he kills again. With that said, we have now reached the end. The bottom spot. Do yourself a favor and leave now while you still can. And if you want to stay, buckle the fuck up. It doesn't get worse than this. It really doesn't. I flirted with the idea of saying that That's My Boy and The Do-Over were worse, but I just couldn't. I couldn't even bring myself to write about this film for 9 months after I first saw it. 9 months! It's kind of like that John Mulaney bit where if you're trying to compare the badness of 2 words and you won't even say one of them, that's the worst word. I easily wrote about That's My Boy and The Do-Over immediately after seeing them. But I just can't even stomach the idea of spending a single minute editorializing about the soul-sucking awfulness of Going Overboard. This is genuinely one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It's not the most offensive or the most heinous or the most overly long Adam Sandler film. It's only 97 minutes, so what's wrong with that? You don't know, man. Those 97 minutes are an eternity. I could feel my soul ebbing away as I watched this empty, meaningless series of images for the 4th fucking time because I couldn't bring myself to think about it a second longer on those first 3 viewings. Going Overboard is a self-described no-budget movie. One that Adam Sandler tells to the camera was only made because they had access to a boat and a bunch of supermodels for a couple days. So they figured, sure, we can make a silly comedy movie. It won't go down as one of the biggest atrocities in the history of mankind. I bet you're wondering how an Adam Sandler movie could possibly not have a budget. I mean, people love him. Surely he can get some amount of funding for this. Well, that's the fun part. This movie came out before Adam Sandler was famous. Before he joined Saturday Night Live. Before he had ever appeared in a feature film before. Going Overboard is his motion picture debut. And it's kind of incredible that despite a long career filled with so many widely despised films, he never topped this one. It never got any worse than the first fucking film he ever made. Wow. So what is Going Overboard about anyway? Well, after an ugly and visually unstimulating opening credit sequence, Adam Sandler talks directly to the audience and tells us how this is a no-budget feature that they only made because they had the boat and the supermodels, yada yada yada. Basically, his character is jealous of the ship comedian because he wants to be the guy who makes everyone on the ship laugh. He's a lowly busboy underdog and he wants a chance to prove himself. Okay, that doesn't seem like that terrible of a premise. So does he get the chance to take over as comedian after like 15 or 20 minutes? No! Try 40 minutes! Almost halfway through the movie! Because why would we get the plot in motion when we could instead have a bunch of long-ass pointless scenes that go nowhere? One of the most insane examples that keeps on popping up over and over as the film goes on is those supermodels. Are they incorporated into the plot? No! Are they incorporated into the setting on the boat at least? No! No! It just keeps cutting back to them in a black void as they answer supermodel questions. Why? I don't know! At one point, Adam Sandler says he's going to bed because he's upset that the ship comedian punched him in the face. But then he talks directly to the camera, which is something he does a lot in this movie, and says, I can't go to sleep. I'm too depressed. I wonder where I'll be in life in like 10 years. This is the cue for the movie to ingeniously cut to the supermodels, who then explain where they see themselves in 10 years. That is what this fucking movie is like the entire time. There is no rhyme or reason to anything you ever see on screen. They cobbled together whatever they had and hoped it would make for a presentable feature film. But hope isn't enough. The movie just keeps going with random bullshit that doesn't progress the plot. Adam Sandler has not one, not two, but 3 nightmare sequences within the span of the next 10 minutes. Hey, did you know that he doesn't like the comedian on the boat? I don't think you know that. I think we need to drill that into your head a little bit more. Actually, speaking of which, did you know that this movie takes place on a boat? You might have forgotten. So here's an establishing shot of the boat. And in 5 more minutes, we're gonna have another establishing shot of the boat, so that you remember that we're on a boat. But don't you worry. In case you forget that we're on a boat, we'll have another establishing shot in another 5 minutes of the boat, because that was where the movie takes place. It's on a boat. Oh my god, finally. The comedian got locked in the bathroom and everyone thinks he's dead because they saw his hat in the water. So that means he's dead. Okay. Looks like it's Adam Sandler's time to shine. Oh, wait. First, we have to have King Neptune show up to help Adam Sandler be more confident in himself. I'm sorry, what? Why? What's the joke here? How is this situation at all absurd or larger than life enough to warrant King Neptune, god of the sea, showing up and talking to Adam Sandler? This is what I'm talking about. Shit just happens in this movie for no reason. They had a King Neptune costume lying around, and they figured they'd put him in the movie. Cause I don't know, why the hell not? I've genuinely seen student films that are more professional than this. Okay, now 50 minutes into the film, Adam Sandler is finally performing stand-up for the first time. Now is his chance to prove himself. Oh, okay, he just sucks at it, and after 2 minutes, he's booed off the stage. And they just get this rock star who's on the boat to perform a song number that goes on for 4 fucking minutes.
Waiting for them to play Gangnam Style.
Which is then followed up by an establishing shot of the boat at nighttime, which then fades into an establishing shot of the boat at daytime. This is anti-entertainment. This is what they use to torture prisoners in Guantanamo Bay. This is... Yeah, I'll say it. This is worse than the Wii U battle mode in Mario Kart 8 on Toad's Turnpike. It's a genuinely impressive feat to make something so unwatchable and unfunny. I'm proud of you, Adam Sandler. You really knocked it out of the park on your first attempt here. In the next scene, Adam Sandler is lamenting the fact that nobody finds him funny. And his friend tells him, hey, why don't you try telling jokes? And Adam Sandler says, wow, that's a great idea. But first, let's see a montage of some beautiful women. And then it's just random shots of women in bikinis. Not even the supermodels from earlier. It's just bikini women. You know, at least Hop had a story. Oh no, they dragged Milton Berle into this and his scene isn't even funny. Oh my god, make it stop. Oh, okay, now something is happening in the plot. Bad racial stereotype terrorists are here to kill Miss Australia because earlier in the movie, Mickey from the Rocky movies was a dictator and he was watching the videotape of all the supermodels and they were dissing him, so he wants Miss Australia killed. Oh, so the supermodels were relevant to the plot. God, I can't believe I doubted Going Overboard. What a tightly scripted masterpiece this is. Anyway, now there is a boring scene where they all run around the, what the hell is this thing again? We haven't had an establishing shot in a while, so I forget where the movie takes place. Oh, it's a boat! That's right! Whew, can't believe that knowledge was almost lost to the ages. Anyway, then they stop the terrorist goons because they teach them about the fine art of stand-up. And Sandler gets to kiss the lovely daughter of King Neptune at the end, who only appears in the ending scene, because they realized they needed Sandler to kiss a hot lady, so that's why she exists. Hey wait, was that Billy Zane as Neptune the whole time? And that's Going Overboard. Wow. It's truly inspiring that Sandler even had a career after this. I can't believe it exists. I can't believe it's this atrocious. I have been racking my brain for 9 months trying to come up with a single redeeming quality that this film has. But I got nothing. There is not one good joke. There is not one good scene. It is a harbinger for the death of comedy as we know it, and there is not a single reason for you to watch it. Is it harbinger or harbinger? Don't seek it out under any circumstances. It's not even the most horribly offensive Sandler comedy or anything. It's just a completely empty, annoying, infuriating in the moment, yet entirely forgettable when you're not watching it experience. I would say Adam Sandler has come a long way since this deeply painful debut of his, but that's only because it was literally impossible for him to get any worse than this. I can say with full sincerity that Going Overboard is one of the worst comedies of all time. One of the worst films I have ever had the displeasure of witnessing. And yes, easily my pick for the worst Adam Sandler movie ever made. It's finally over. 9 months of my life wasted away in service of this stupid ass ranking, which subjected me to some of the worst atrocities put on this earth. Adam Sandler's life is a cautionary tale, a true testament to the hubris of man, and the reflection of how even the most beloved of us can fall from grace and destroy their cinematic legacy. He is the most frustrating actor on the face of the earth because he is so easily capable of doing great things, both comedically and dramatically. He just doesn't. He actively chooses not to. All of these awful films are damn choices of his. Well, okay, Going Overboard I don't think was his fault. I genuinely don't know what happened there. But this man should be put on trial for every other atrocity he's committed. He needs to be stopped. I don't want him within 10 feet of an Academy Award. He does not deserve it. Wait. What am I saying? Didn't he give one of, if not the best performance of the year a couple years back? Didn't he headline one of the most inspiring movies I've ever seen from my all-time favorite director? Didn't I just talk about that last month? All these memories within me are so conflicting. I don't know how to feel about Adam Sandler as an actor, but I get the sense that maybe, just maybe, he's good? Nah, that can't be right. I watched Going Overboard, and you literally cannot recover from that. Not happening. What's that? Can it be? It is! The uncut audio for my top 2 favorite Adam Sandler movies! That's right! He has a pair of 10 out of 10 masterpieces in his catalog! How could I ever forget? It's finally time to end things off with a bang, folks. Here are my takes on 2 of the best movies I've ever seen, let alone Adam Sandler movies. If you like him in any capacity, or even if you hate him, then these should be required viewing for you to see what he can really do. Well, maybe not this second place one. It's amazing, but it might give you crippling anxiety and make you want to throw up.
This is my fucking way. This is how I win.
Uncut Gems, baby. God, what a picture. Commonly cited as one of the best Adam Sandler performances and Adam Sandler movies to date. The Safdie brothers' outstanding, anxiety-inducing masterpiece had me on the edge of my seat with my fists clenched the entire time. And this was on rewatch. I already knew what was gonna happen in the movie, but that didn't stop it from gripping me senseless a second time. Where do I even begin? I guess we better start with the Sandman himself, the guy who the entire movie hinges on the performance of. It's kind of astounding how he both disappears and doesn't disappear into the role. Like, he honestly isn't playing this character that differently from how he would play a protagonist of one of his shitty comedies. It's a very loud and abrasive character, with the voice he's doing being unmistakably Sandler. And yet, it just works. He fully embodies the obnoxious prick that is Howard Ratner in a way that makes me unable to picture anyone else in this role. This character has a single similarity to Barry Egan in the sense that they both don't really think things through before doing them. But that's where the similarities end. Barry is kind-hearted, while Howard is greedy and egotistical, unable to stop himself from taking more and more and proving himself to others for no practical reason. Like, why the did he show the opal to Kevin Garnett if he couldn't have it? That one stupid action of his kicks off most of the conflict in this movie. And it's just because he wants Kevin to respect him? He's upset that Kevin isn't impressed with anything in his shop? He's a deeply pathetic little man who can't stop making things worse for himself at every turn. If he didn't walk out of his daughter's play away from all these witnesses, he wouldn't have gotten assaulted by Arno's goons. If he planned ahead and got the appraisal sooner, he wouldn't have been blindsided at the auction. Of course, that would have required him to not give KG the damn rock in the first place. It's honestly kind of incredible how much of this movie is his fault. And nowhere is that more evident than the incredible and horrific "This is how I win" scene. Watching him squander the out he's been given and bet the opal money instead of paying his debts because he just can't help himself. He's just like Oscar Sharktail for real. I can't even really describe how the scene makes me feel. It's a bizarre mixture of excitement, shock, terror, and oh brother, what did I expect-ness. So when we get to that dramatic final scene where he locks Arno and the goons in and forces them to watch the game, only to get shot with a huge grin on his face, it's like, yeah, no, that feels appropriate. He's never gonna learn, he's just gonna keep pulling this bullshit forever, or at least until a bet of his doesn't pay off. This might be one of the most justified instances of the main character dying I've ever seen.
Who is it?
Goons!
Who?
Hired goons!
Hired goons?
And the fact that the scene doesn't even slow down once he's shot is the real cherry on top. It's just business as usual for these guys, and Howard's life didn't amount to much in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, the sensational last act of this movie is its best attribute. On top of that riveting Adam Sandler performance that's impossible to look away from. But let's not count out everything else this damn masterpiece has to offer. Between this and Good Time, the Safdies have proven what a real knack they have for anxiety-inducing cinema, where everything that can go wrong will go wrong. The editing and the way conflicts and conversations are laid out on top of one another is absolutely masterful. Julia Fox is really fun in this. I love the grounded sensibility Adele Dazeem brings as Sandler's wife. Hell, Kevin Garnett is shockingly great in this. I don't know if I've ever seen an athlete give this strong of an acting performance. Lakeith Stanfield is good too, obviously, but that's to be expected. It's honestly hard to find any weak points in this movie. I mean, I guess you could say Howard is unlikable, but that's what makes his self-inflicted downfall so riveting. And that trademark Sandler charm still makes him incredibly fun to follow. Nah, in terms of actual issues, I feel like the concept of Howard and Arno being brothers-in-law had a lot more potential for interesting scenes that I don't think the movie utilized that much. And that is all I got. This is an absolutely outstanding film that I feel will only grow in esteem as the years go on. It features the single best Adam Sandler performance ever put to film. Which is wild, because again, in many ways, he isn't playing it too differently than he does with some of his comedic roles. But there's just so much more to it. The fury, the ego, the obsessive desire to win that you can see in his eyes in every scene. What a performance, what a movie. But even though logically, this seems like the correct choice for number one, there's another Sandler movie that my heart just insisted on. Well, folks, we finally made it. As phenomenal as Uncut Gems is, I still don't think it quite matches that very first masterpiece that showed off what a tremendous tour de force Sandler could be as a dramatic actor. If you watched my Paul Thomas Anderson ranking, you probably could have guessed that there was not a single Adam Sandler movie that I love more than Punch Drunk Love. In my opinion, it is a perfect movie. A funny, heartwarming, magical expression of the difference love can make in your life. But the thing is, I already kind of talked about it extensively in that PTA video, which you should go watch if you want my full thoughts on it as a film. But I made sure to save a couple of thoughts specifically for this Sandler ranking. And what better thoughts to save than those that relate to Sandler himself and his performance in the film. Before we discuss that, I really need to reiterate just how odd of a collaboration this was. Paul Thomas Anderson had a reputation as an up-and-coming, acclaimed art house director, fresh off the widely acclaimed films Boogie Nights and Magnolia, which both earned a couple of Oscar nominations. And he wanted to follow up his dramatic 3-hour epic Magnolia with an Adam Sandler movie. Why? Because he was a big fan of Adam Sandler comedies like Happy Gilmore and Big Daddy. Yeah, that's kinda crazy. And the press certainly took notice when this movie was first announced. No one understood why such a promising and prestigious director would suddenly turn around and say, let's work with the guy who made Little Nicky. It was unexpected, but boy did it work out. If Paul Thomas Anderson had never taken that chance on Sandler and given him a more dramatic and nuanced role to show off his acting capabilities, we probably would not have gotten Uncut Gems all those years later. This movie absolutely opened the floodgates for every incredible dramatic performance he's given, to the point where it's not even a shock anymore. Sure, Uncut Gems was kind of the big wake-up call for contemporary audiences that, yes, he is a good dramatic actor, but this was the blueprint, the proof that's been there the whole time. I've talked a lot about the inherent likability that Sandler has as an actor today, but nowhere has that likability been more of an asset than in this movie. It's so easy for you to identify with his loneliness and his awkwardness and his impulsiveness. He has larger-than-life reactions to things, and he gets into larger-than-life situations. But at his core, he's a grounded and sympathetic guy. Seeing him take so much emotional abuse from his sisters is devastating, and Sandler sells that anger so believably. The scene where his sister refuses to give him Lena's number and he gives a terrifying reaction when he's reached his absolute breaking point. I didn't even know his face could get that red. He also sells the anger so well in the phone call scene with Philip Seymour Hoffman. Like, dude, I just didn't know he could do that as an actor. There's no hint of humor or goofiness in that moment. It's just, wow. I also really like how this isn't just a great movie that happens to star Adam Sandler. No. It very much is an art house version of an Adam Sandler comedy. He's played a lot of characters who are prone to fits of rage like this, and said rage moments are almost always played for comedy in movies like Happy Gilmore. But this one asks, why don't we analyze that? Why don't we consider what's going on in the head of an easily irritable plunger salesman who concocts a cockamamie plan to buy a bunch of pudding to avoid paying for an airline ticket ever again? Yes, Barry is a silly guy who does a silly dance in a supermarket, but the movie grounds him and asks us to take his emotional state seriously, to empathize with him and get us emotionally invested in his pursuit of love. Because more so than any other Adam Sandler character, it becomes apparent that he needs it. And there's no shitty, lowbrow comedy to get in the way of the emotional core here, like there is in something like 50 First Dates or The Wedding Singer. Just you getting sincerely invested in the emotional highs and lows of a silly Adam Sandler character. in a movie that wears its heart on its sleeve and wants to express, above all, that love will heal you. It will give you the confidence and strength to stand up to any adversity that comes your way. Even an evil sex hotline scammer named Philip Seymour Hoffman. And at the end of the day, isn't that what the movies are all about? I think this movie is so special to me because I just understand Barry. Not so much the rage, but the awkwardness and the not really knowing how to be. It's so easy to see others who seem to have this whole life thing together and wonder why you can't just be normal like them. You don't know if anything's wrong with you because you don't know how others are. But then you find that one special person and everything about life just clicks into place. And don't even say you won't, because do you know how big the world is and how many people there are in it? No matter how much you doubt love will ever find you, it will. There is absolutely someone out there who needs you just as much as you need them. It doesn't matter how goofy you seem, someone out there will love you for who you are. Do yourself a favor and watch Punch Drunk Love. One of the most beautiful movies I have ever seen. And easily my pick for the best Adam Sandler movie.